right here as we continue to look at Chicago. So this is the area we're going to focus for a chance for some of the storms. It is possible some of these storms are going to end up being severe. So some of the stronger storms with the potential for some of that hail and potentially some damaging wind as well. This is a look here throughout parts of South Dakota and Nebraska, and then here throughout parts of the Midwest, including Indiana, most of Indiana, Chicago, and parts of Kentucky. And now we're going to play it out what the computer rendition is showing us. Dr. Forbes took us through early in the morning. Now we're picking it up also about the same time, early on, about 5 o'clock, Iowa, parts of northern Illinois, and then just to the north of St. Louis. Watch out for some storms here. And then 3:30 tomorrow afternoon, so between about noon and dinner time, we're going to start to see some of these storms forming west of St. Louis, and we'll watch for those to move through probably at or after dinner time. And then another round starting to set up again in the northern plains. And then jumping ahead to Thursday, still that severe weather threat here, and this does come with a tornado threat on Thursday. As of this point, much of Iowa is a 3 out of 10, Jen, on the Torcon.
All right, so we do know we're going to see that pattern repeated. It looks like in many of the same areas to the north. But now let's look on the coastal regions of North Carolina. This is actually at a surf city. Well, the only surfing people were doing there yesterday was surfing through the rainy streets. You can see this was yesterday in North Carolina. They got a washout out there. More than ½ inch of rain slowed down the beach barbecue scene. You know it's a sad day when the barbecue can't get underway. The city did squeeze in the evening fireworks show, and that's what's really important. I tell you one thing, Chris, how many dogs are just so happy that it's July 5th?
It's over.
Oh, my God, I'm happy, too. You try, what 4 dogs on 4th of July.
Do your dogs freak out with that?
Absolutely. They think the world is coming to an end, and I feel the same way, too, at times when it happens. But as we show you right now, we look at Atlanta, we look down towards Montgomery, you see the rain moving through, and then we have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings, of course, right now moving through South Carolina. But if you're, say, in the area just to the east of Conyers, just to the southeast of Lawrenceville, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that's right now in effect. And then we move into Hickory, right along the areas just to the north of 26. So we continue to follow these storms. We're going to talk more about the heat coming up. And Chris, we'll send it over to you.
Yeah, coming up, tornado or not? That's what investigators are trying to figure out with this. We'll have the full video coming up. Conditions favorable for the development of tornadoes have a means to be alerted of the warning. So the watch is out until 9 o'clock for these areas, parts of South Dakota and Minnesota. And a warning means the threat is imminent. This means that conditions are possible for the development. And we will let you know as soon as we know if a tornado warning is issued. So, Jen, that severe weather, really starting to see it take shape, and the Storm Prediction Center highlighting this area.
Yeah, you know, seeing it more northerly, of course, this is what happens when you move into July. You see that jet stream going a bit more to the north. As we continue to update you on that potential for tornadoes, we do know yesterday we have this video coming in from Louisa. If you look at it here, we're still waiting to hear word whether or not this was a confirmed tornado, but you can see rotation as we see these storms just kind of rotating behind parts of this area of Kentucky. National Weather Service is sending crews out today to survey the storm damage. We do know that we are going to continue to see rain popping up across this area, including some thunderstorms around. So right now, let's look at the northeast and we look at the forecast, and we do know the temperatures right now are actually pretty comfortable. We have some 80s, 74 degrees in Boston, 86 degrees in Burlington. Now, we do know the weekend was kind of a rough one, especially for D.C. when it came to the fireworks and stuff. But we do know right now we're locked with the clouds around. As we go throughout the afternoon as well as into the evening hours, the temperatures tonight, they're generally going to fall into the 70s with clear skies around. A chance for some rainfall for Pittsburgh, but for Bangor and Boston, the temperatures dropping down into the 60s. So that's a look at the northeast. For more, we want to turn it over to Chris. He's going to talk more about summer heat. That's what comes with summer, right?
Yeah, I think it's what people are going to be talking about. A lot of people talking about the heat in the northeast because that's what we're seeing and that's what we're going to get. Let's take a look right now at Washington, D.C.'s temperature over the next few days. In fact, into the weekend, it's going to be in the 90s. These are going to be the high temperatures, 93 tomorrow and then into the mid-90s by Thursday, Friday, and continuing into Saturday, 94 to 96. That's what you're going to get over the next few days. Average high this time of year, 88. Right now, across the Northeast, most areas are in the 80s, a little bit cooler with some ocean influence there in Boston, 74 degrees. Dew points also up. They could be a little bit higher, but this is enough that you're feeling it. If you see some green on the map, that lets you know that it is humid out there. And if you go for a hike, it's probably not going to take too long before you start getting the beads of sweat right here, starting to feeling that heat. Tomorrow, more 90s along that 95 corridor here, into the mid 90s for some spots. About 10 degrees warmer than average for many of these locations, and you're talking warmer than average in the hottest time of the year. You know it is going to be quite warm. And Philly and DC, ooh, look at that, Jen. Upper 90s by Friday.
You know, it seems like in springtime it took so long for those temperatures to warm up, and now they're just soaring across parts of the southeast. We're seeing kind of the same thing. We do know we have a heat advisory in place for parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas City. You're included in that, and that's what happens when you're seeing days of excessive heat warnings where we're looking at 105 degrees. It is going to be sizzling across parts of the plain. So what is happening? We have a ridge to the east of the southeast, as well as one is setting up for parts of the central plains, but we're keeping the heat around, nothing really to bring any relief. So at the same time, the heat index, it's going to be up to about 105, 110 at times. As we show you for Wednesday as well as Thursday, the temperatures are going to be running a couple of degrees above average. But anytime you're seeing that fuchsia color on the map, you know it's going to be warm. 102 in El Paso, 101 in Dallas. And then for Saturday, you're hoping, well, maybe I might get some relief from the heat. No, you're not. We're still going to be looking at triple digits around from Little Rock all the way over towards areas including El Paso. Chris.
Coming up next here on Weather Center Live, we're seeing those storms firing right now across parts of the southeast. More dark clouds and storms expected. Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee. You have more on the way. Who needs the rain and who's going to get it? Coming up.